of violent storms causing widespread damage from Florida to Virginia. More than a dozen tornadoes reported gusting winds, sending trees crashing into homes, tearing up power lines, roads washed out, forcing evacuations by boat. The path of destruction and what's ahead for the holiday weekend.
Missing boy. The search for a 5-year-old. Last seen after his parents say they put him to bed. They're desperate pleas.
AJ, please come home. We love you very much.
And did police dogs uncover a big clue?
Mueller report fallout. The president overnight blasting the findings on Twitter. Now Democrats divided on how to proceed. What the presidential candidates are saying this morning as a top Republican slams Trump's actions.
Shooting protest marchers voicing their anger as new video is released of officers opening fire on an unarmed couple inside their car.
And then my girlfriend just yelling like, they shot me, they shot me, they shot me.
What the driver is saying about those terrifying moments.
And dramatic rescue. Officers and Good Samaritans rushed to save victims in a car fire.
Watch out, he's on fire, watch out!
How they were able to pull the victims out in the nick of time.
Come on, dude, come on!
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. On this holiday weekend, Jews around the world are celebrating Passover while Christians mark Holy Saturday. But we begin with the violent storms impacting millions of Americans.
Overnight, multiple reports of tornadoes toppling gigantic trees and destroying homes. The severe storm system now on the move, threatening flash flooding in the Northeast.
And as you can see, the storm's doing its damage in North Carolina. That's where ABC's Zachary Quiche is joining us this morning. Zachary, good morning.
Whit, good morning to you. 4 reported tornadoes here in the state of North Carolina. I want to show you what this tree did to this dump truck. That is a dump truck back there. Obviously, all you can see here is the grill. This is really indicative of what we've seen across the area. Weeks of wet weather combined with these heavy gusts of wind, in some places over 100 miles per hour.
Overnight, severe storms ripping through parts of the South, bringing heavy rain and damaging winds as the system marches north. In Florida, a vacationer capturing this wild scene from the balcony of a popular resort as the strong winds and heavy rain whip through St. Pete Beach. A reported tornado south of Tallahassee killing a young girl as a tree fell on her home. And in South Carolina, winds topping 60 miles per hour. Gusts so strong they tore off the front of this building, leaving bricks scattered everywhere. Heavy flooding in North Carolina prompting rescues like this. First responders on the scene helping get these residents out of their flooded neighborhood. In Asheville, this car got stuck when it was submerged in the deep waters.
Don't drown, turn around.
The storm also bringing down trees in Atlanta. This one slamming onto this box truck. Watch as first responders work to pull this driver out. The heavy rain pounding parts of Georgia, washing out this road outside of Athens. And in central Virginia, this was the scene after a massive tree fell, bringing down the power lines with it. That left hundreds in the dark, the doors of this Walmart blown out.
Today is cleanup day. Obviously, lots of stuff to get done around here. Power has not been fully restored in this neighborhood, but certainly that's on everybody's mind. Dan, back to you.
Zachary Quiche, thank you very much. This storm is still on the move, so let's get it over to Rob to find out what's happening next. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. It's moving slowly. That's one problem. We've got a lot of rain with this, and we've had 3 days now of storm reports. These purple and red areas, those are damaging storm reports, over 600 of them in the last 3 days. And this storm, as you can see, the center of it right there, it's not really moving that much. It's drawing up a lot of moisture from the south, so heavy rain with some of these cells that are moving through Philadelphia, New York, getting up and through Hartford and Boston throughout the day today, and warm air, so even more rain coming down with this because warm air can hold more in the way of water. You can see even through tomorrow, it doesn't clear out that much more. So we'll talk more about your holiday travel later in the broadcast. Eva, over to you.
All right, thanks, Rob. We turn now to the search for a missing boy outside Chicago. Police hunting for clues in that 5-year-old's disappearance, even bringing in search dogs.
This morning, this young boy's mysterious disappearance has police in Illinois and the FBI searching for answers.
We're just extremely worried. If anybody knows anything about where Andrew Jr. is, please contact the Crystal Lake Police Department.
5-year-old Andrew Friend Jr., known as AJ, was last seen Wednesday night after his parents say they put him to bed. K-9 units scouring the neighborhood outside of Chicago. Officials saying it appears AJ never left the house. K-9's only picking up his scent inside. Overnight, police say their search is now focused on the boy's home in this quiet Crystal Lake neighborhood. The Illinois Department of Children and Family Services telling ABC News it has been involved with the family in the past. The boy's brother has been placed in a temporary home while authorities investigate. AJ's mother, Joanne Cunningham, visibly emotional on Friday.
Miss Cunningham doesn't know what happened to AJ and had nothing to do with the disappearance of AJ.
His father, Andrew Friend Sr., pleading for his son to return home.
AJ, please come home. We love you very much. You're not in any trouble. We're just worried to death. Please, please come home.
And police say there's no indication an abduction has taken place. And at this point, they do not believe there is a threat to the community. A lot of questions this morning.
Absolutely. Awful for that family, too. Thank you, Eva. We do want to turn now to police in Connecticut. They're facing new fallout over that shooting of an unarmed couple inside their car. Protesters overnight marching to a local police station to voice their outrage. ABC's Will Reeve joins us with that story. Will, good morning.
Good morning. With dramatic video of this incident shows the two officers shooting at the car from the front and the back. Now calls for justice.
This morning, outrage taking over the streets of New Haven. Protesters demanding that the two officers who shot at an unarmed couple near Yale University step down.
That could have been my little sister. That could have been, my little cousin. That could have been me.
Shocking surveillance video taken from different angles shows the moment two police vehicles pull up to a parked car and immediately open fire.
Okay, the victim is in a red vehicle, one person shot.
You can see an officer from Hamden Police Department arrive on scene, jump out of the car, and instantly unload a barrage of bullets. A Yale University officer shooting from the other side before sprinting away, not even taking the time to put his car in park. The crossfire hitting 22-year-old Stephanie Washington as she was sitting in that parked car.
And then my girlfriend just yelling like, they shot me, they shot me, they shot me.
Her 21-year-old boyfriend, Paul Witherspoon, next to her in the driver's seat.
I mean, I heard gunshots and stuff before, but it's a different feeling of somebody shooting at you than the police shooting at you.
Police say the officers were investigating a report of an attempted armed robbery early Tuesday morning when they spotted this red Honda. They thought it fit the description of the car involved. Authorities claimed the shooting happened because the driver made an abrupt movement and ignored commands. And according to police, there was no weapon inside the car.
Stephanie Washington is reportedly out of surgery and in stable condition. The Yale police officer was also injured during the incident. Authorities unsure whether he was hit by a ricochet from his own bullet or a bullet from the Hamden officer. Both officers are on administrative leave pending review from the state's attorney.
A lot of anger about this story. Will Reeve, thank you for your reporting. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Well, now to the potential quagmire facing the Democrats as they try to navigate how to respond to the release of the redacted Mueller report. Will it divide the party over whether to pursue impeachment? ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri is in West Palm Beach, where the president is spending his holiday weekend. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Eva. The Democrats say that the Mueller report gave them a roadmap for investigating the president, but there's a debate over whether it's enough to start impeachment hearings. There's a real concern that if they're too focused on the president and not enough on policy, they'll face some backlash at the polls in 2020.
This morning, Democrats split on what to do next. House Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler taking action, issuing a subpoena for the full unredacted report.
Because Barr misled the country, we have to hear from Barr, which we will on May 2nd. We have to hear from Mueller and ask him a lot of questions. We have to hold hearings and hear from other people.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi cautious, declaring that whatever comes next, their goal remains the same.
The Congress of the United States will honor its oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And overnight, one top Democrat claiming she's seen enough.
It's a point of principle, and every member of the House and every member of the Senate should be called on to vote. Do you believe that that constitutes an impeachable offense? I do believe that the evidence is just overwhelming.
On the campaign trail, 2020 candidates say they'd rather beat the president at the polls.
I think we can solve this once and for all in November of 2020.
The best thing we can do is defeat it decisively at the ballot box in 2020.
But members of the Trump administration are still claiming that the report exonerates the president. White House spokesperson Hogan Gidley telling Fox News,
they wanted a conviction. They wanted a smoking gun. If Bob Mueller, the special counsel, had anything on the president, he would have indicted.
Even though most Republicans have been silent, Senator Mitt Romney released a statement saying, quote, I am sickened at the extent and pervasiveness of dishonesty and misdirection by individuals in the highest office of the land, including the president.
Democrats are expected to hold a call on Monday on next steps forward. House Judiciary Chair Jerry Nadler says he wants Bill Barr to testify before his committee in the next few weeks, and he wants to interview Robert Mueller by May 23rd. Dan?
All right, still no word on whether Mueller himself will testify. Thank you very much, Tara. So much to talk about here, so let's bring in ABC News chief political analyst Matthew Dowd, who's beaming in from Texas. Matthew, good morning. You were once a political advisor for national figures, including former President George W. Bush. So let me get you to put that advisor hat back on. What would you advise the Democrats about the road forward here? Should they impeach or not?
Well, I think Nancy Pelosi has this right, much more so than the Republicans did when they impeached Bill Clinton in 1998, is when you look at the history of impeachment in the United States, the only time when it's successful, as we saw with Richard Nixon, and the road to impeachment with Richard Nixon, is when it's bipartisan. And so my advice for the Democrats would be conduct the investigations, go as deep as you possibly can, expose everything that's there and what's been going on in this administration with this president. But maybe the best step that Congress could do is censor the president. There's only been one president censured in our country's history in 240 years, and that was Andrew Jackson in 1834. And so I think keep the investigations going, but maybe the step to really take in this at this time and in this division is to censure the president.
Yeah, but even if they're running all these investigations all the time, doesn't that take their eyes off of what many people consider to be the real ball here, which is policy issues, including health care?
Well, I think the Democrats can walk and chew gum at the same time. I would hope they can do that. I would hope there's a number of committees that are supposed to be doing investigations and supposed to be holding oversight that they can do, while other committees do the work of policy and all those things. The Democrats have passed a number of bills already this year that have languished in the Senate in this. I think they can do both simultaneously, and I would hope that Congress people can look at themselves and say, I can talk about policy and I can investigate and hold oversight of the administration.
Let me get you to switch sides for a second here. What would you advise President Trump? Overnight, he said on Twitter that he wants to, I think he used the words, turn the tables and investigate the officials who initiated the Russia probe. There are a lot of questions about the start of this probe. Would that kind of investigation be a smart move for him?
Well, no, I don't think that would be a smart move for him, because I think that just is another example of extending this thing and making it look political. I mean, I have tried to give the president advice over the airways and what I think would be in the best interest of not only himself politically, but the country. And I think that would be trying to bring the country together, healing the country, appealing to more than just his base, more than just a third of the country that strongly supports them. Sponsor things like infrastructure, reach a compromise on immigration, do those things, and move past this retribution that he seems to fall into, which is if they were bad to me, I'm going to be bad to them. I think if he made the step to encourage the Attorney General to investigate the Democrats or investigate Hillary Clinton or whatever he is going to do, it's going to be another step towards division, which I think the main thing that we will debate in 2020 is who's the best candidate that can bring the country together.
Matthew Dowd, really appreciate your analysis on a Saturday morning. Have a great rest of your day. And Whit, over to you.
Dan, another story we're following today. The California parents found guilty of torturing and starving most of their 13 children have been sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. David and Louise Turpin were arrested in January 2018 after one of their daughters escaped and called police. Two of the children the couple was convicted of torturing and abusing spoke at Friday's sentencing, one saying, quote, "My parents took my whole life from me, but I'm taking my life back."
The mother of a South Carolina fifth grader who died minutes after being involved in a school fight outraged and vowing to fight back after officials announced that no charges will be filed in her child's death. A pathologist review finding that Rania Wright had a rare birth defect that doctors say caused her death. Now, the girl's mother says her daughter was being bullied and wants something done about it. Rania died after becoming unresponsive in school on March 27th.
We have a sad anniversary to mark this morning. 20 years since Columbine. Overnight, a vigil. Family members, survivors, and first responders honoring the 12 students and 1 teacher killed in that massacre. And ABC's Clayton Sandell is right there in Littleton, Colorado, with a look at how the country has changed since the shooting that was really a dark milestone in American history. Clayton, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Dan. It is hard to believe it's been 20 years since the Columbine attack. It was not the first school shooting, but many here were hoping it would be the last. Today, the community is gathering to honor the lives taken too soon and focus on the work they say still needs to be done. At a vigil here overnight, they came to remember 13 names, 12 students, and 1 teacher murdered 20 years ago today.
Fellow or former students, it's believed, who rushed the schools and opened fire.
2 fellow students planned and executed the horrific attack at Columbine High School, ushering in the modern era of deadly school shootings. Tom Mauser still wears the shoes his son Daniel had on the day he was killed.
I really try not to think much about how would it be and what he'd be doing. To me, he's still 15.
Columbine also became a rallying cry for copycats, according to an ABC News investigation believed to have inspired more than 50 attacks, plots, or threats since.
We're not a tourist attraction, and we're not a place for you to come and gain inspiration.
Just this week, the FBI says the 18-year-old Florida woman who bought a shotgun and was a threat to Colorado schools had a Columbine infatuation. Police say she committed suicide.
We do have to think of like, okay, I might die in my school.
Columbine senior Anna Lemus-Paez wasn't even born in 1999, but the specter of school violence is something she and her friends have been forced to grow up with.
The first day of class of a new school year, of a new semester, I'll walk in and I'll be like, okay, like where are the exits? Like where's the best place to hide? Like if something happens.
But there is also hope. Rachel Scott believed kindness and compassion could replace bullying and violence, a message her family spreads today in schools around the world.
She wrote, "These hands belong to Rachel Joy Scott and will someday touch millions of people's hearts."
It has become a Columbine tradition to focus this anniversary on something positive. So today, many students and faculty will be completing hundreds of community service projects. That is followed by a memorial service planned for later this afternoon. Eva.
All right, Clayton Sandell, thank you. Now to New Hampshire, where a man driving on a highway was almost hit by another car gliding through lanes while on its roof. Take a look. Dash cam captures the car as it heads across the median and then flips over, and it just keeps going, sliding on its roof while dodging somehow oncoming southbound traffic. Police say the car rolled over after hitting 2 cars in the northbound lanes. Fortunately, that driver was somehow not seriously hurt.
Amazing.
Incredible video, though.
Very fortunate there. Let's transition, bring Rob back in for the check of the forecast. Busy weather morning, but also an interesting update on Hurricane Michael.
Yeah, this news came out yesterday. They did a post-storm analysis and discovered that Hurricane Michael, which initially came on as a Category 4, now they think it was a Category 5, which is a rare event. Only 4 of them making landfall here in the U.S. On record, and the first since 1992 Hurricane Andrew. Those in South Florida know that well. So the final analysis is 160-mile-per-hour winds. So that is above the Cat 5 minimum. And there you see some of the damage there along the Florida Panhandle. Of course, this was like a major tornado about 30 miles wide coming on shore of the Florida Panhandle and then driving up into parts of South Georgia. Thankfully, that is history. Hopefully this year we don't have anything like that. We do have this storm to deal with, though, and it is on the weakening mode. It will spin itself out, so we're looking at rain, some heavy at times coming up the eastern flank of it, the back side of it, looking at some showers. And if you are traveling today and tomorrow, looks like the midsection of the country looks to be pretty good, but some snow and rain across parts of the Intermountain West, and quiet for the most part there in the southwest corner of the U.S. Eastern Texas, by the way, 85 degrees. Egg Harbor, New Jersey, 63. And there's the dancing bunny. There you go. All right. It is Easter holiday. And happy Passover as well. Here now is a look at your local forecast.
This Saturday morning starting off cloudy. It's warm. It's humid. Temperatures are in the upper 60s. It will become breezy by 3 o'clock, 73 with partly cloudy skies. So really nice through your afternoon. By 9 o'clock, 63 with partly cloudy skies. Now, as we head into your Easter Sunday, it will be a little bit cooler. Temperatures in the morning for those Easter egg hunts and church services will be in the 50s. Will be around 62 degrees by 12 o'clock. And by 5 o'clock, overcast skies. High temperatures in the lower 60s and looking a little warmer as we head into Monday for Earth Day with a high of 70.
Of course, we're always thinking about those still recovering from Hurricane Michael. We hope that the bouncing bunny gives everybody a little bit of comfort.
It made me feel better.
Yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate
Me
it.
too.
Yeah.
Exactly.